Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is I, Edie Lewis, back with another review. Except for this time we're going a little mysterious as we go into the realm of the Phantom of the Opera. Sorry for the dramatics. Yes, this time I'm in costume because I am doing a, series review on Phantom of the Opera. So this is video 1 of a series of videos. But before we get started, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please hit the like button at the bottom of this video, and please hit the subscribe button, and please leave a comment that is, not inappropriate, not, anything that's above PG-13, and nothing rude or mean, because that's not nice, and we don't like to read those comments. Nobody does. Also, if you're interested in purchasing my book, The Curse of Rich House, which I may have to take this mask off because it's a little uncomfortable right now, we have it situated. It is available on Kindle, as well as paperback from Amazon. Okay, we're going to do the unmasking here because, I just can't wear this thing. I can't find the right tie. There we go. Okay. Enough of that. I will keep the cape on. It's available in Kindle edition and paperback from Amazon. The Kindle is only $2.99, so it's very affordable. And also, if you're interested in my short story, my short erotic, erotic romance story, Alone with the Professor, it is also available from Amazon, but only in Kindle form, and it is only 99 cents. Very, very affordable, so check that out. Also, please visit my author page on Amazon as well. And please, visit and hit like on the official Facebook page for my book, The Curse of Rich House. So, that's all I need the tablet for. Like I said, this is part 1 in a series. Now, I don't know when I'm going to do part 2, because I probably won't do it. That probably won't be my next video, but, yeah, so the plan is to do that. So, we're doing The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I decided not to wear my glasses because of this, and, yeah, now I'm... So, we're doing this. Phantom of the Opera. Or, if you like this cover, because this is a pretty cool looking cover, there's also this one. So, of course, this is, this is from Barnes & Noble. They're, collectible ones, and this is Other Gothic Tales. So you'll probably see this in another video, and I've already shown it at least once. So, it's heavier, so I'm just going to hold this one up. And they're the same translation, because there's at least 2 different English translations. So, like I said, we're doing The Phantom of the Opera. By Gaston Leroux. It was published originally in 1909 and through to 1910. Serialized in newspapers. It was Gaston Leroux's 3rd novel, as far as I can tell. And the first English edition was in 1911. So it's like 109 years ago that it first appeared in English. Leroux actually based his novel off of a mix of true events and locations, such as the Opera Garnier in Paris, which is the location of the book, and it is a real-life place. I just like to sometimes call it the Paris Opera House for short. And the incident of the falling chandelier is another example of a true event, because that did happen. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that is an event that happens in this book, and it did happen in real life. But, also, I say a lot, and I'm sorry. I just naturally do that. He also mixed in a little bit of theater lore. Now, he did swear that the opera ghost, quote-unquote, was real, even to his last breath, he still swore to the end of his life that the opera ghost that he, was real, that, he based his story, off of. Now, how much of the whole thing with the lore, I'm not really sure, but even the main character, or the lead female character in this book, it was based off of a real person who performed at the opera, as far as I know. This book is gothic romance, gothic horror, and gothic mystery. So it covers, all three of those gothics. Not that there isn't more gothic than that. I mean, there are. But it covers those three main gothic genres. So, let's briefly talk about the book, and I can kind of give a little preview of stuff to come in later videos. This will probably be like a 3 to 4 video series, so this is just part 1. So, the book takes place in the 1880s, and the Opera Garnier, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, is haunted by a mysterious figure known as the Opera Ghost, or the Phantom of the Opera. On the night of the opera's manager's retirement, the lead soprano Carlotta is taken ill, and young Christine Daae makes her debut, wowing everyone in the audience and everyone backstage. In the audience that night is Christine's childhood friend, the Viscount Raoul de Chagny, along with his older brother, who is the Count de Chagny. And he recognized her right off the bat, and he is like, I have to go see her. So he does go see her after the performance, but outside of her dressing room, he overhears this conversation. She's being complimented by this mysterious male, and it makes him, kind of jealous and stuff. And so he waits after she leaves, and then nobody leaves with her. So he's like, who was in there with her? So he, goes in, and there's nobody there. So later he meets up with her and confronts her about it, and she tells him that she has been tutored by the angel of music sent by her father from heaven, and she claims that's who was speaking to her. Of course, Raoul thinks this is all some prank or something being played on her, and she doesn't believe so, and she is very offended by it, and so then he's determined to prove otherwise, and so he even follows her one night when she goes to see her father's grave, but he stumbles upon this mysterious figure playing the violin for her. So, but meanwhile, at the opera, things are getting worse. The new managers have taken over and stuff, and they want to run things their way, and of course, the Phantom doesn't like that. And so he sends them all kinds of demanding letters and stuff, and they think it's all a joke. And one of them is that in their next show, which I do believe is Faust, he wants Christine to play the lead and Carlotta to not. And if his wishes are not obeyed, there will be some disaster that'll happen. Of course, they don't follow through. They make Carlotta play the lead, playing Marguerite, and suddenly she starts croaking like a toad on stage, and also the chandelier falls on top of the audience, killing at least one spectator, and also the Phantom kidnaps Christine. Now, there is a lot more that happens, and of course, if you are familiar with any form of the media, you pretty much know what happened. Know somewhat that happens in it. There's all kinds of stuff yet to come, and in this book, if you've never read it, I feel like you should. If you're familiar with Phantom of the Opera at all, you should read the book, because the book goes into the past of the Phantom, and it doesn't tell everything. There is a book, though, that tells the complete story, of the Phantom's past, and it's called Phantom. I've never read it, though, but I've read about it. And the story just kind of has a very tragic end to it. So, I mean, it has twists and turns, and the character of the Phantom is fascinating. And There's also a character called the Persian who shows up, and he's kind of an important character toward the ending especially. And he's very connected with the Phantom's past, so you don't see him like in hardly any versions of it except for the original movie. Which we'll talk about that in a later video. The only character I think from the entire book that I absolutely did not like was the character Raoul. He is a complete idiot. He's not very smart, he's not very bright. He is literally a complete idiot, and I just don't like his character at all. He's the only character from the book I didn't absolutely like. The other characters, they were either okay or I liked them. So, like, I liked the Phantom, I liked the Persian, I liked Christine. I did not like Raoul. And his brother isn't seen very much, and to me it just seemed kind of weird. The relationship between him and his brother seemed almost uncomfortably close. I got kind of a weird vibe from him and his brother, but that was probably just me. It just seemed kind of weird to me anyway. So, like, you can get this book anywhere. I mean, you can get Kindle editions, Nook editions, you can find all sorts of editions out there. Signet has one. I mean, lots of companies do. I used to have a Signet copy, and it had a really cool cover. You didn't see much, but you saw the yellow skin of the Phantom, and only like this much of his face, like the bottom half, and all the rest was black. And it was really cool. I also have another edition of the book, and it's a children's edition, and it tells everything from the Phantom's point of view, and he tells his past briefly, and he tells the events that happened during the story. And it had really cool, like, charcoal-like drawings. It was fantastic. Well, my Signet copy actually was falling apart. Even the cover itself was crumbling. It was so old when I got it. And I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it just eventually got tossed. I don't know. But I did get this copy from my local bookstore. It was really cool. I love the cover. Even my mom loves the cover. And then when I was on vacation earlier this year, the hubby actually bought me this. And it was Phantom of the Opera and Other Gothic Tales when we went into the second Barnes & Noble we went into over when we were on vacation, which, you know, if I see a bookstore, I'm going to want to go in it, you know. And I didn't know what it all had in it at all. It just had authors on the back, and it was covered in plastic, and it said Other Gothic Tales. I'm like, ooh, that's a cool cover. I want that. And I almost got Dracula instead of this. And I opened up, and it was a whole treasure trove of stuff. So even a Gothic book I've read, but I didn't have a copy of, was in here. And I'm like, yes. And I want to do a review on that sometime. Even though I don't care for that book in particular, I'm not going to say what it is right now. But you'll see this book again for that. So Phantom of the Opera has, of course, you know, lived even beyond the novel. It has been made into movies, remakes, and several book retellings and continuations and prequels, as well as a hit Broadway play. Actually, several stage plays have been done, but this is the most popular one that everybody's heard of, the Andrew Lloyd Webber one. But there are other musical plays that were actually produced, and at least one that was on Broadway before Andrew Lloyd Webber's, but I know nothing about it beyond that. So, but that's pretty much what I have for you this time, so, you know, keep safe out there. Read. You know, that's a good activity. It's a good way to escape. It's a vacation that you can take without going anywhere or spending, you know, any money if you already have the book. And, you know, be kind to everyone and stay safe. Black Lives Matter. And show our black brothers and sisters that their lives matter, because they do. And, you know, stay spooky. Bye-bye.